Oh boy, I was muted. Oh darn. I think I am here and I'm arriving. Am I mostly on time? It says 9 o'clock. I think I'm mostly on time. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another little stream thing. Little faction focus roundup. It was a good time last time, so we're doing it again. Where you've got a Mass Effect Andromeda background music on the galaxy map, very quietly in the background as a little bit of ambience, because I got copyright striked for like 4 separate coffee shop jazz songs last time, so that's not great. And Andromeda actually has some pretty good music. I think it's a little underrated personally, as far as the Mass Effect games tend to go. But good morning. I hope you're all having a genuinely pretty solid day. I hope things are pretty good. Today is going to be much like the last stream, where we're going to talk a little bit more about the faction focus of this last week, discuss some of the in particulars of the various things we got, which was, if I am not mistaken, where is my cat? There we go. Is good old Chaos Knights, Adeptus Custodians, Orcs, K-Suns, and Grey Knights. Two nights in a row, and then there's another Knights there, right there as well. Yeah, YouTube took away all of our jazz. Can't have shit on YouTube. But that's the plan for overall for today. Nothing particularly too crazy going on. I know we got Drukhari coming up next week, and in that case, not much left. It's really just Drukhari and Genestealer cults. That's pretty much it, unless they start doing non-codex compliant Space Marine chapters like Dark Angels, Black Templars, and Space Wolves and Blood Angels. But if they don't do that, then I guess that's pretty much it. And then maybe the rest will just be data sheets. Who knows? Things like that. Let's see. Bricky, you see Auspec's video on the second leak of core rules. Biggest one for me is getting out of a destroyed vehicle. There's 1 mortal wound instead of killing a model. Oh, that's pretty good, actually. Yeah. I think I did see some of the video. I didn't watch the whole thing. I think the most important thing that I saw from that little leak thing was you can actually get out of a transport after it moves now. But you have to get out wholly within 3 inches of the transport, and you cannot move or charge afterwards. So you move, get out, and then you just kind of stay there, and then you shoot. That's about it. Unless, of course, you have the Land Raider, which allows you to charge, or I think the Taurox can like advance and let you disembark, which is, you know, pretty interesting. It'll make transports more interesting, I'd say. Obviously, chat, I will try to get to all the chats that I can. However, super chats do take priority, as they are literally giving me money, and I am nothing if not a businessman. So hopefully we don't get too ahead of ourselves here. Speaking of, just some dude, hey, how crazy would it be if James Workshop just drops Emperor's Children data cards of the new Noise Marines in Fulgrim? Well, it'll be pretty darn crazy, I'm not gonna lie, because in the world of, this is the wrong one, in the world of the Demons book right here, it literally says in the Demon Pact that if your warlord is Lucius the Eternal. So they would already be going against the rules they have already set up. So I'm pretty positive it's not going to happen, and you'll probably get it sometime later in the edition, much like the World Eaters did. Hey, Jason Schaefer, good noon o'clock to you. East Coaster over there. Where you know I gotta enjoy my time in the West, and that's 9 o'clock a.m. over here. Delta Dud, how does the psychic keyword work? I saw that almost every weapon on the GK weapons has it, but I'm not sure how it works exactly. So psychic keyword is not an ability or an effect. A lot of people seem to be getting that a little bit confused. The psychic keyword is not an ability. It does not give you anything. It gives you 0. It is simply a thing to note, because it is a tag. Basically, it's a tag. A lot of you who do any kind of web development can understand this. It is tagged as psychic, so it can be affected by other things that affect that tag. Example, Sisters of Silence. Models in this unit have the Feel No Pain 3-up ability against psychic attacks. It is entirely meant to be affected by other rules. It doesn't give you anything, you don't gain anything, you don't lose anything. It is entirely there to be adjusted for rules in other stuff. It is simply a tag. And like an example, like anti-psyker here is a keyword tag. And that's the entire point of it. K-Suns, for example, just had a stratagem that says, until the end of the phase, all attacks made against your unit with psychic weapons have the hazardous ability, and all models in your unit have the Feel No Pain 4-up against psychic attacks. It is a condition, it is a tag. The Barbarian Ninja, thank you very much. I saw on Reddit that there was some sort of leak that we would get an Agents of the Imperium Codex. I don't know if I believe Codex, but I do believe Index. I do believe that we will get rules and things for Agents of the Imperium when 10th comes out, but a full-on Codex? Sus. Oh, wait. Amogus. David Herrera, thank you very much for the dawn. Here's hoping they show off the assassins. I want to see if a Vindicator assassin will be a must-add. So the only thing I know about assassins is that they have the lone operative keyword, which means they cannot be shot outside of 12 inches. And they all just have that apparently, which is pretty great. It's a very assassin thing to have. Maybe it'll be even more so against certain weapons. Maybe it'll be like 6 inches against psychic weapons if it's a Caluxus, for example. Who knows? All I know is that is the case, but little assassin just gets doom bolted to death. Dude, doom bolt though. Oh my god. It would not surprise me if you stuck a Mutilith Vortex Beast right next to your Doombolt guy and you were just like, 36-inch range, go! And you just fucking murder someone. Absolutely insane what this thing does. It is crazy how powerful Doombolt is. Thoughts on Rubric Marines going down a movement? It's fine. You know, you could argue that the rubrics and their automaton nature maybe is slightly slower. I think it's maybe also to differentiate them from Grey Knights a little bit, as Grey Knights have become quite an interesting army now. They are like, it's really weird. Grey Knights are a hyper elite, psychic, tanky, but low number, high mobility army. Very weird. It is a niche that has not been utilized in 40K yet. A hyper elite, tanky, movement-based army. Very different. Very, very different. Kind of exciting though. It's gonna be annoying though. Hey Sebastian Bowlin, thanks for the $10. Do you know if we will be getting any new dice check content in 10th? I'd love to see some games after the how to play video. Feel it could draw new players. Love your content. I'll see you doing 10th. So yes, Dice Check is, I made a tweet about this yesterday, is currently undergoing massive changes. No one's canceled. No one is gonna get a fucking twit longer. It is entirely business related, and a combination of lots of things, including burnout, scheduling, the conflicts, etc. The office is being moved a pretty significant distance. Leadership is changing, and how we're running stuff is going to be very different. I can't get too into it yet. I mean, I can, but I don't want to until about early June when you can learn a lot more. For now, though, the answer is yes. Give us some time. Gnome Away from Home. That's a good name. How likely will it be that Emperor's Children / Dark gets added as a faction for this new codex? I say it would be pretty likely that you would get Emperor's Children coming up this year because we got World Eaters. And we also have the other 3 Slaves to Darkness, being Death Guard, K-Suns, and then World Eaters. Dark Mech, little iffy. Not sure. Hey, Delta Dub. Grandis basically teleports behind you. Nothing personal, Kim. No, it's very personal. If you're playing demons, it's extremely personal. Roland asks, how do you think precision will affect Guard? I'm worried it'll be too effective. It will be quite effective against Guard. Because, you know, Guard characters are pretty bad often. What determines how effective it'll be against guard will be twofold. One, how cheap are the characters? So how bad is it if you lose one? And two, how common is precision? You know, how common is the precision rule? Because I know NIDs get it in their hyper adaptations, but that's choosing one of three. And you might not always want precision. We know that K-Suns have it with Ahriman's staff, but his staff is one shot at 18-inch range. So, and only AP1. So, you know, little iffy. There's the Orc Ed Banger, but that's also one shot. You know, there's some questions. It depends on how good precision will be, and also how expensive guard characters are. I love your content, but I do keep being awesome. Oh, thanks, man. That's very kind of you. Am I the only one worried about the changes on orcs? They look like they will not be a shooting army anymore. Possibly. Counterpoint. Most shooting orc things have some form of melee. And even those that don't can still benefit from the 5-up invul save. Side note, DACA and various others, other shooting rules could get abilities in their data sheet. We could get good shooting rules. For example, when you call the wah, increase the strength of this unit's ranged attacks. Completely possible. Or when you call the wah, if this unit is within half range, increase the AP of their attacks. There's a lot of that stuff that could happen. And it wouldn't be too surprising, because even in things like K-Suns, for example, Ahriman has an ability that affects their main rule. You know, Arch Sorcerer of Tzeentch, a free Cabal ritual. So it could make it could be rather interesting how they do it. I'd say that the possibility is there. Of course, I am only guessing because we don't have full answers yet, but we'll see. I feel like K-Suns are getting like 100% rework here. What do you think? Not quite. The whole Cabal points are still kind of the same. You get more points with the more sorcerers you have, and you spend those points on various abilities. I guess you could argue that their detachment rule is a little bit different, but the style of K-Suns are maybe a bit different. I'd say that Grey Knight's got a bigger rework out of anyone. I think Grey Knights feel like just wildly different. Higher saves, way more teleportation, you know? Let's see. Brian Alleman, hey, thanks for the $10. I appreciate it. It feels like Orcs are going to be very, very reliant on characters, Gaz and Makari and the Weird Boy, being in and giving buffs to units. Possibly. It depends on what units are being used. For example, I actually find like the Beast Snaggers to be pretty decent. Most regular guns are getting drops in overall power, like AP and stuff. And therefore, if you're firing at Beast Snaggers with regular guns, T5 and a 5-up save and a 6-up feel no pain, like that's not that bad. Good OC too, 2 OC, that's pretty solid. Now granted, I think a lot of units could rely on characters in general, just as an overall stature, but it really depends. You know, there's something to be said for how good is a unit without the buffs, and is it worth the points? There's often a question of, is it worth taking a character to buff these models instead of just taking more of the models? You know, if a Weird Boy is 60 points, for example, let's say, would it be better to just take 60 more points of Beast Snagger? You know, like what's the damage output increase? What is the defensive output increase? Like there's a lot of that question to determine. Just some dude. If you need more reason to read Lion Son of the Forest, there's a moment where people get him the biggest bed they have, but the lion notes that if he lays in it, it will break. Bricky. It'll break, so he sleeps on the floor. I mean, that is kind of funny. Johann von Sminkelsmurf. What a name. Howdy. Where do you think the other detachment rules for SM will be? I really hope that Salamanders get a decent buff to Flamers and Meltas. I don't think they will. I think the detachment bonuses will be rather all-encompassing and not hyper-specialized. For example, I would imagine that maybe salamanders might get something to assist them with like their toughness, because they're, you know, really big, beefy guys. Where maybe like Imperial Fists might have something like +1 OC or something like that in certain situations because they're about, you know, fortifying. I don't think it'll be hyper specialized on weapons per se. I think it'll be more about like the feel. Like maybe White Scars are +1 movement, +1 to advance and charge. You know, something that just everyone can kind of use. Hey, Rose Goddess, what's up, Rosie? I'm a sad cat due to the Tau rules, but hoping for some cheaper models point-wise and more variety. Anyway, just wanted to drop by and say love 40K content. Wish you a great day. Thank you. I'm not gonna lie. I think that the Tau are pretty good. I think they're really good, honestly. You know, if you're playing it properly, half of your army is gonna hit on 3s. The other half will hit normally, and possibly ignoring some cover. And Kayun is, you know, pretty good. And I don't know. I think Tau are gonna be fine. I kind of like drones being like little tokens too. It kind of feels very I don't know, just the way it is. I kind of like it. I don't know. I kind of like where Tau is at right now. Maybe I'm crazy. Barbarian Ninja, do you think the future detachment rules? Oh, thanks for the 10 bucks, by the way. Are going to mimic the flavor of existing factions well, or the detachment rules going to be generalized? I really hope CSM gets a good Alpha Legion flavor like rule. I think they're going to be a generalized thing with a little specialization. Like for example, I always go back to Sisters because Sisters are my favorite faction. You know, Blood of the Martyrs is obviously an Our Martyr Lady style ability, but you can, you know, it's not like it's hyper specialized like the current Martyr Lady one. Like anyone can use this. This is solid in every single way. I'm not quite sure, you know, I'd be curious what the other ones are. I mean, you can kind of tell a little bit. Like Catherine has the 6 relics and they all kind of represent each faction. Like Valorous Heart gets a 6 don't feel no pain. Bloody Rose gets lethal hits. You know, obviously it'll be more melee based. It'll be like Valorous Heart's rule will make them tankier. Bloody Rose will make them better in melee. Argent Trial will make them better at shooting. Sacred Rose will make them better in terms of leadership and miracles. And Ebon Chalice, fuck, I don't know. They're kind of like they're always a bit of a wild card. So I don't know, but I would say that maybe like the Alpha Legion sub-faction could still be good. What's the current one right now is outside of 12 inches, -1 a hit, vehicles 18 inches, and fall back, advance, or fall back and charge, and fall back and do actions, right? 12 inches, subtract 1, 18 inches, subtract 1 over wound characters of 10 or more. Fall back and declare charge, fall back and do an action. Yeah, I actually think the Alpha Legion trait is really fucking good. I think Alpha Legion have one of the better traits. They just aren't on one of the better, like rest of their rules are kind of okay. So maybe, I don't know. Okay, it's hard to 100% tell. Polar Vortex asks, do you think allied armies will be able to provide each other buffs, i.e. guard character buffing knights? Tomfoolery may happen. Probably not. GW has been going away from Soup for a while because Soup has ruined the game on multiple occasions. So those of you who played in 6th and 7th edition can really attest to this. It can absolutely break the game. I would think for the most part, no, outside of a couple exceptions. Eldari being one of them, demons in things like World Eaters, that kind of stuff. Let's see here. Narek, hey Bricky, I'm confused that Angron doesn't have a Titanic keyword while the Baneblade has it. Will he be obscurable or is there a general rule? So we don't know the general rules of obscuring. They have given us lots of terrain things here in terms of the benefits of cover with like craters, rubbles, barricades, etc. But we don't know if obscuring is even still in the game. It might just flat out not be. I'm not 100% sure. And in that case, you might need to block a line of sight from a general perspective, like literally a ruin that you can't see through. That being said, he does have a rule called towering, and towering makes it so that you can never gain the benefit of cover, I believe. Let me double check. I think it was in the terrain. Hills, woods. Oh, maybe not. Towering models are exceptions to this. Visibility to and from such models determined normally. Yeah, so I think towering is the new 18 plus wounds where you just see them regardless. But I don't know if he has towering. Let's see if he has towering. Scroll, scroll, scroll. He does not have towering. He doesn't have towering. Wasn't obscuring in the Baneblade profile. The Baneblade has an ability. The Baneblade has Rolling Fortress, which is just a fancy ability that lets you give cover to other things that are near it. It's not specifically the word towering. It has vehicle and Titanic. Let's see here. Hi, Bricky. Would you guys consider reading the Emperor's Legion? Follows reestablishing the Sisters of Silence, G-Man's return, and lots of politicking. There's always possibility. Sometimes it's a maybe. We don't always know exactly the book we want to do. After Kingmaker, we might do Eisenhorn. We've heard many good things. Rose Goss. I'm holding out hope that it'll be fine, but AdMech rad bombing gives me nightmares as it just removes your faction ability for Tau. Time will tell. It might remove their ability. It might remove the ability for half of the group, not all of them. And that's only if you decide to take the rad bombing. I might argue that it's better to just take the mortal wounds because it's one, only on a 3-up, I think. Or is it a 2-up? It's only on a dice roll, and 2, just D3. If you take it on a Riptide, you might just take a single mortal, and then who gives a shit, right? AdMech. Yeah, it's only on a 3-up. So it's only two-thirds of the time, 66% chance. So it might not always even happen. Police Guard with the, I don't know exactly what that is, but it's orange, which means it's over $20, so I really appreciate it. Hey, Bricky, the last few weeks have been a really fun time getting a quick squiz at the preview, then chatting with my boys about them while I wait for your take to drop. Good night from Oz. Stay awesome. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. And thank you very much for the dono. Aussie dollars. Hey, let's go. Man, an Australian once tried to steal from me. Threw a ninja star at him and cut the rope that held him to the ground as he plummeted into the sun. Rookie mistake. Krauza, $10. Your Adric video with Kirath got me into Chaos Knights. I'm hoping they make it all war dogs less meta in 10th, as they've been sold out since June 2022. Maybe focus on World Eaters instead. That's fair. The World Eaters are very cool overall as a faction, though. It's very simple. Life is simple. Commit murder, legalize nuclear bombs, swag Messiah. I mean, the World Eaters are just plain old fun, though. So, I don't know how to feel about Death Guard. I've always played them. They're my go-to faction for 40k. Never had any success in 9th with them, and I feel like losing the Disgusting Resilience is going to hurt. Yeah, Death Guard have been the most lukewarm faction reveals so far. I don't care how much complaining Necron players have, they do not seem that bad. Death Guard are the ones who are allowed to complain. If anyone is allowed to complain, I'll give it to the Death Guard players. Even though you still aren't really allowed to complain that much because we still don't have the whole story yet. But yeah, I'm not sure, because for the most part, everything they showed us was making Death Guard killier and not much tankier. In fact, it showed them being less tanky. An additional toughness in the Blight Lords is nice, but losing Disgustingly Resilient is definitely a bit of a fear. I don't really know how to determine it, because Death Guard, like, they might not be the tanky faction anymore. Like, their concept, like, maybe the ludicrously impossible to kill faction might just be Nurgle demons. And Death Guard are a hybrid between being tougher but still killy, and not just pure tough. Their points could have gone down for all I know. It could be that they're, I mean, it could be, they could actually end up being quite tanky thanks to the reduction of rerolls. Because now that they're, you know, T5 and T6, only anti-tank weapons will do particularly well, and you can't just spam oops all melta anymore. And so all of your regular anti-infantry stuff against them without the rerolls, having you constantly wounding them poorly, might actually be the tankiness we need. But I have no idea. They also show us the Plague Cache. They didn't show us Mortarium. They didn't show us a Lord. They didn't show us Lord of Virulence. They didn't show us Tallyman. They didn't show us any of the other stuff. So I don't know. The thing about Death Guard is that they had arguably the most lukewarm preview. They might not be the worst faction at all. Hell, the worst faction could be fucking Eldar, and they had the best preview. I have no idea, because we're still just guessing around here. But they did have the most stinky preview. Hey, Delta Dud, bricks for the brick throne. Oh, I'll stack that throne high. Silverhawk, what do you think will be the most fun faction to play against, the least fun to play against, and the hardest to play against? Eldar have notoriously always been the hardest faction to play against. They're tricky, dicky, and annoying. Or Gene Stealer cults. Most fun to play against almost always refers to large amounts of models. And most people will say that the most fun they have fighting another enemy will be always Nids, Guard, and Orcs. Because killing a lot of stuff is always fun. Though if Guard spams artillery, that's not very fun. And if Nids were what they were in 9th edition, also not as fun. But often it's Guard and Orcs are the fun ones because it's just lots of models. Sometimes Hordy demons too. Sometimes Krons also, if they do Silver Time. Least fun to play against often, I always find Knights kind of sucky to play against because they're so tanky, and you walk onto the battlefield and you're like, oh, well, I guess my anti-infantry weapons do nothing. How fun. You know, so normally Knights are the unfun factions to fight. Normally K-Suns and Grey Knights were a bit unfun too because they had a massive psychic phase, and if you played like Admech, you could do nothing about it. But that might change now because it's been consolidated. Battle tutorial. Watching your dice check battles helped me win my first 40k game against Betrayer as well. Betrayer? My body for the Silent King. All the love and thank you. Well, thank you very much. That LEP, thank you for the $10. What is your most promising Imperial, Xenos, and Chaos focus so far? Mine's Knights, Elves, and CSM. PS, super stoked for the 3rd Legion playmat. Oh yeah, the playmat. Yeah, the legally distinct and inspired by Maraviglia thing for the Emperor's Children. So proud of this dude. So proud of this thing. Shilling it right now. We only have like 25 left. You guys burned through this so fast. Oh my God. We have like 25 left. It's almost out. It's in orchidate.com, chat. You can check it out at orchidate.com. Link in the description. Merch store. Am I going to be making more? I don't know. They take a while to produce, so I don't know. I'm not 100% sure. Oh, the gal in the middle, for those of you who have read Fulgrim, is Bekwa Kinska. She is a remembrancer who led the play that created the first Noise Marines. So it might sell out, but you can still buy them as prints, like poster prints. So yeah, link in the description. Yeah, international shipping will be really bad. Sorry, chat. I have no control over that. I blame your customs and COVID. Oh, your answer though, Imperial, Xenos, and Chaos. I'd say when it comes to Imperials, the most promising is probably either Stodes or Sisters. I think Sisters just look great. They just look great, particularly when they're barefoot. I feel like people always underestimate Sisters because they don't understand how they work, and a good player can make Sisters fucking rip. They can rip if you know how to play them properly. Besides that, I'd say probably Stodes are pretty up there. As for Chaos, I'd say Knights or K-Suns. K-Suns are looking really nasty. And Chaos Knights are looking really nasty. It's just like battle shock, battle shock, battle shock, battle shock. Like, it's crazy what Knights seem like they can do. So it might be that. As for Xenos, I think it's a hard win for Eldar. Eldar looking by far the best in my opinion. Not a whole lot of deliberation there. I'd argue it's just Eldar. Let's see here. Slade Wilson, as a Death Guard and Mortarian fan, I'm sad we didn't get to see him in all of his wing glory. I want to see how far they could go with his durability. Same. I kind of would have liked them just showing us like a regular Lord, though. It is kind of cool to see a lot of these big like centerpiece models like Angron, but not all of us want to run the big guy. A lot of us want to run like the regular guys, like a few Lords and stuff. And so I'd kind of like to see what the Lords would look like more so. Let's see. Krauser, since Drukhari are 3 armies in a trench coat, do you think they might get 3 army or detachment rules? 9th did it well and hopeful for 10th. Maybe. I'd say it would be like this. It would be detachment rule. Cabal units get this. Witch units get this. Homunculus Coven units get this. And that's it. Nothing past that. That's my guess. My assumption is they also get power from Pain as their main faction ability. Fuco Verde? Sorry. Thank you very much for the 10, is that euros, I think? I really like that some Chaos factions are using a Battle Shock feature a lot. Demon's army ability and Chaos Knight bonuses. It gives them a solid identity while being fluffy. Dude, I'm just happy, you know, as a Night Lord stan, that Battle Shock actually matters. It is a major component of the game, and it's lovely. I am actually a little bit impressed that Grey Knights can practically ignore it. That they can basically remove a unit at the end of the enemy phase and then deep strike them, which means they won't take Battle Shock rolls, which is kind of impressive and a little surprising. They can functionally just ignore it, but yeah, I am glad that it's rather a commonplace thing. TK, I'm scared for my GSC faction focus. With the reduction of stratagems, I feel GSC always had a very high skill floor compared to other factions, and I'm concerned about 10th's simplified, not simple. I would agree. I am unsure about GSC. I would agree that they were always a very high skill ceiling army. I would, however, advise a different statement, that GSC were a high skill ceiling because your opponent didn't know what they did. And that's not a good way to win the game. It's not fun to win because your opponent just doesn't understand what you're doing. It's better to win the game off your own merits. And so I would hope that even if it's simplified, it's skillful. So we'll see how it turns out. Hey, Alec, man. Gotta say that the way 10 is shaping up is getting me more motivated to build and paint my K-Suns, Salamanders, and Necrons again. But I'm about to paint some AOS Goblins and Squigs today. Have a great day. Thank you. And K-Suns looking pretty good, so. Baltorial, Khan Betrayer. Karn the Betrayer. Used 10 Lich Guard to beat him down. Was an amazing game. These videos have been amazing for my hype as well. Can't donate more. Sorry, you're fine. Don't worry. Don't ever. Your donations are appreciated, but never expected. We will keep chatting with chat regardless. It's only if you want a spotlight on your specific question. But yeah, Khan is the is a certain Primarch, not the Betrayer. But beating him down with 10 Lich Guard is pretty good. Mr. Idiot says, we love and thank you every other commenter. That's not true. That's not true. Bricky fans are a very special breed. They're a simple kind of, hey, Bricky, screw you. Here's $5. That's how it's always been. That's how it shall be to the end of time. I'm also happy that leadership means something again. I didn't buy a Hemlock and 2 Death Jesters and 7 for the shenanigans to be invalidated. Yeah, I'm also glad that it's not necessarily leadership. You know, Battle Shock is not how scared are you. It's just operating in either the horrors of war or the difficulties of war. Battle Shock is like being pinned. You know, it's having difficulty like doing stuff for whatever reason. It's debilitating the enemy, not I'm scared, I have to run away. You know, like How am I supposed to hold an objective? Yeah, when the NIDs are screaming into the fabric of reality. You know? How am I supposed to hold an objective when the gigantic knight that creates warp storms where it treads is staring down at my face? Yeah, brother, I am pinned here. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Like it's a little tough, you know, forged in terror. Yeah, like it's just the way it is. Like, yeah, I mean, you know, I can still shoot my gun at the thing that's coming at me, but good God. HM Girl Popuri? As someone from 2nd and 3rd edition 40K, getting back into the hobby and trying NIDs, I miss the old super scary gene stealers. I mean, they're still kind of scary right now. What they showed off here, the gene stealers are fucking like they rip. They rip. They will eat you alive. So, unless you mean like the models, which could be different. Let's see here. Hey, Bricky, just picked up my first warhammer setting was the World Eaters Combat Patrol. Is that a good starting point? Totally. World Eaters are a simple army, and they're not meant to be anything but better. Get in melee and murder you. Perfectly fine. They're not too hard to paint either. Well, they are a little hard to paint with all their spikes and shit, but if you gotta paint 3 things: flesh, red, and brass. It is a great starting army. Blood for the blood god. Battle shock equals anxiety. I mean, basically, you're battle shocked, you know? You can't do normal things well because of the war you are currently in. You are battle shocked. For what might it be? It could be lots of things. You could take cover, or it could be, I don't know, getting hit by radiation. There are options. Excuse me. Hey, Chase Denny. Hey, Bricky, your bolter videos got me to get it myself. Really having, the bolt gun videos. Really having fun. Can't wait for more Custodes releases. It seems at last our time is now. At last. My brother of the 10,000, you were goddamn great in 9th edition. You were very good. It's just that your rules were complicated and annoying. But my brother in the 10,000, you were fine. It does seem like your time is now in a more acceptable way, though. In a more, not when I played. Well, skill issue. Hey, Bricky, screw you. Anyways, here's some money. God, I love this community. What do you think about Harlequins not being on the lineup? 2 things. 1, they're getting their own codex again, and they will join Drukhari or not join Drukhari, but join the additional faction focuses later on. 2, I mean, they only showed off like two data sheets, you know? I don't know. They just maybe didn't show them off. You know? Could be one of those. It could be one of those 2 reasons. I don't know. What do you think Presidium shields will do for Custodes? Presidium shields, aren't they called Sentinel shields? Or do they change the name of them again? No, it's a Sentinel blade. Right? It's a Presidium shield and a Sentinel blade. Yeah, that's right. I don't know. Might give them +1 to their armor save. Maybe it gives them the benefits of cover at all times. I don't know. It'll make them tankier. I know that. -1 to wound in melee. Bam, bam. I don't know. Maybe give them an extra wound. Yeah, just like flat out give them 4 wounds. Battle tutorial. Last one, really wanted to ask, will we ever see Valgur the Fallen Lord as a playable faction? Would love to see a Flare Dynasty. Thoughts, pro/con. I would assume that the panic attack inducing members of Drazak and the Undead King will be a side thing. will be if you want to make them that way. Ultix and his group will probably be if you want to make them that way. Great books, man. Great books. Rain not as Rain quite not as good as the original, but still pretty good. Let's see here. What are your takes on the new? Wait, I missed it. What is your take on the railgun not getting any anti-keyword? Very simple, actually. It doesn't need it. It is strength 20. So the only anti it would need is anti-vehicle 2 up or monster 2 up, because against it is wounding every single vehicle in the game on 2s or 3s. If it's toughness 10 or below, it's 2s, and above it's 3s. So, like, yeah, it already has anti. It's called strength 20. That's what the anti is. You see, the reason the other antis would be to give it the automated devastating wounds ability to automatically generate the devastating wounds. The reason it doesn't have that is because railguns can be maybe not spammed, but placed out there for cheap. What is a hammerhead? 150 points, maybe? The reason the Imperial Knight has anti-vehicle 4 up and anti-monster 4 up is because a Knight Valiant with a harpoon is, oh, I don't know, 600 fucking points. It is the cost of all 3 of your hammerheads and long strike. Now, it has other weapons besides the harpoon, but it's also strength 24, flat damage 12 in AP6. The harpoon probably should be the highest damaging thing in the game. I don't think, unless you are taking some Titan or Forge World model that's 1,000 points, that anything in the game should be more powerful than the harpoon. This is the Knight harpoon. It is insanity. It's also super cool. It's a gigantic electrical harpoon. It's so fun. Volcano cannon should be the highest. Maybe, but it's not one shot. A volcano cannon has multiple shots, and it almost is. The volcano cannon has the same strength, slightly less AP, same damage, and just different and not devastating wounds. But it's not one shot, so it's close enough. It's close enough. All right, let's see. Mr. Idiot, currently 145 without upgrades, 160 for Long Chad. So yeah, basically the same cost as the Knight. Gas Rat, for 4 of them, that is, all 3 plus 1. Gas Rat, I got some Clussy for 10th edition. I was getting scared that they wouldn't get an army rules until the Eldari Codex. They would get an index. They would get an index a lot. Everyone's gonna get a rule. Do not worry. Every single data sheet is going to get a rule. Orcs Def Cannon, 130 plus wounds damage. Well, yeah, if you spike it. I'm talking about a singular power. One more dice check. You'll learn more in June. Stay tuned for that kind of thing. Bricky, thoughts on the nerf Grandmaster weapon skill ballistic skill since you know. Okay, so Grey Knight players should not be complaining whatsoever. The Grandmaster Nemesis Dreadknight, let me be perfectly clear. All right, chat, listen. Let me be clear. I'm sorry. Should not be complaining. The Grandmaster Nemesis Dreadknight is historically a problem unit. Dreadknights have historically been a problem unit. They are either way No, they're mostly way too good, or terrible. I don't think I would have any qualms with this Dreadknight from what we're seeing, because he's got a great CP costing stratagem ability. His toughness is quite high. He is still 2-up save, 4-up invul in a game with lower lethality overall. And you gotta think about all the things that don't hit him anymore. Ignore invuls are basically gone. That should be noted. A lot of the anti-tank is very specialized. And, you know, that whole thing, and are not meant to deal with a 4-up invul save. And he also still hits relatively hard in a shooting and melee combo. Like, he's still gonna hit. The thing is like, I don't really mind if he has a lower weapon skill and ballistic skill on his the Dreadknight, because it's a big fucking Dreadknight. I don't really much care. So long as the actual characters hit on 2s. So long as like your brother captains and your brother captains in Terminator armor and Voldus and Drago, etc. As long as they all hit on 2s, I'm fine. The big dude in the big mech, I'm okay with that. I'm fine with it. I really don't mind. I really just genuinely don't mind. I'd rather you hit at a lower at a lower weapon skill, especially when you get I don't know, full rerolls to hit, wound, and damage against monsters and vehicles, which is just really good, man. If you only have one Grandmaster Nemesis Dreadknight, then you can do this every single time. So I'm not that worried about it. Honest to God, I think Grey Knights are looking to be really interesting, and I don't think it's a problem. I get it from the lore perspective that it's not on 2s and stuff, but we talked about this in the last stream, and I think we should reiterate it today. The D6 is not granular enough. The D6 is not granular enough. You know, a 3-up does not mean that they hit like a Space Marine exactly. You know, that's why like AdMech hits on 4s now, and so do Guardsmen. We can't compare them as the same. We both know a Skitarii hits better than a Guardsman, but the D6 just is not granular enough. So there will be other things to add, subtract, adjust, etc. Anyway, normal Dreadknight hitting on 4s. I don't think a normal Dreadknight's going to hit on 4s. I think that's a little silly. I am positive it is not going to hit on 4s. I don't believe that. I would be fucking shocked if it hits on 4s. Yeah, we're not transitioning to any other dice outside of a D6. Chat, don't get ideas. It's not going to happen. You can complain about it as much as you want, but you're basically that meme of that guy talking to a brick wall. So, you know, whatever. Let's see here. Scroll. I just finished Assassinorum Kingmaker. Do you think it would fix knights if they could take footmen and chaos cultists? Nah, I mean, I guess maybe make the game a little bit more normal with knights, but I don't know. The knights, you're playing knights because you want big stompy robots, so you're playing big stompy robots. Whatever. It is what it is. You know, I accept the annoyance as it exists. Krega, do you think GW might be force the basic orc boys into the configuration of the new boys box and work with the bigger squads, much like the new Cadian guards? Maybe. They tend to do a very big only what's in the box situation, so possibly. Hey, Bricky, how long does it take for Forge World models to release new edition rules? I bought a Tiberius that I really want to use. I think Tiberius is getting discontinued. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't know. Hey, Top Shelf, it's $10. Hey, Bricky, you're grosser than Nurgle. Damn, they got me. Can you please explain reserves? Sorry for all the beginner questions. This is easier than me reading the jumble of text that has 9th edition rules. Sure. Basically, you can put 500 points of your army before the game starts in reserves. And then on battle round 2 or later, you can bring them in wholly within 6 inches of the board edge on turn 2 and not within your opponent's deployment zone. Or turn 3, you can bring them in the deployment zone, but not on their board edge, wholly within 6 inches. And then they come in at the end of your movement phase, and they can't move after that. And then they can shoot and charge outside of 9 inches of the enemy. So they will always have to be outside 9 inches of the enemy forces. So if you want to charge them, you will always need to roll a 9. That's basically what it is. Lador with the 10 euros. Do you think that units with characters in them will be character units is important for Custodes Termies? Hope Dreadknights will be bad so they won't have to see the ugliest model in the game. Yeah, I don't like much like Dreadknights either myself. I feel like the sisters' Nundums are also a little goofy, but they feel better than the Dreadknights. I don't know for Custodes, because each Custodes character is basically like a hero. I mean, Trajan gives some good buffs to the to his unit, the Captain General ability, but that's all he gives them. The start of the moment shackle is pretty helpful and really good, but it's the only thing that affects the unit is the fight's first ability. Everything else is for himself. So it seems like his abilities are kind of like a light help of the group thing, and then the rest is for him. So I don't know if it'll be mega important, because Custodes characters are expensive. Just some doom. How do you think the Lion will be compared to Guilliman? I think he'll be better at fighting and have greater survivability, however less buffing. I would agree. I think he'll be tougher and killier, but what else? Less of a buffer character. That's kind of how I would see as well. Yeah. Hey, LAP. You think we will get data cards for Legends units such as Papa Creed, Yarok, Last Chancellor's, Doom Guy, and the like? Probably not. Probably not. They're probably just going to go right away, and Geo's just going to be like, floop. Once the Legend units are in Legends, they stay in you know, let me rephrase that. Maybe. Maybe you'll get an index with rules for Legend units. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. Bricky, with the regular Grey Knight troops getting a 2+ save, well, not the regular, the Purgation squad. We don't know if the Strike squad gets it as well. I assume they will. They hint to it in the article. But I'm assuming they will. But we'll see. Where is this? With many units getting an improvement to their save often to a 2+. They say often, so maybe. But we don't know exactly. I'm assuming. Is there any reason to say the Brotherhood Terminators anymore? Well, yeah. They're Terminators. They have 3 wounds, not 2. T5, not T4. And a 5-up invul save. And they have deep... Well, everything has deep strike now. But, they're Terminators. They're higher toughness, higher wounds, and an invul. And often more attacks. Yeah. Also, don't forget, I'm pretty sure every single data sheet in this game has an ability here. Has an ability on the right-hand side. So, who knows what their ability might be. Electman says, what is a consolidate move? I basically understand pile and Sigmar play, but not consolidate. How does that work? A consolidate move is basically the same thing as a pile in with some restrictions. You charge. You then pile in 3 inches to get into the enemy and get onto their base. After you fight, you do it again. You move 3 more inches, either closer to the enemy or closer to an objective. If the enemy is dead and there's no objective in sight, you don't move at all. If there is an objective you can get onto, you move on to the objective. That's it. Fight phase goes like this. Charge. 3-inch pile in. Fight. 3-inch consolidate. I meant the Slayer Tyrant's rule for Alaris. Is it only for characters for the whole unit with the character in it? Ah, gotcha. So I believe it would count the character as well. Let's check. Each time a model in this unit makes an attack. Yes. So characters are, I believe, attached to the unit and become the unit. I believe they become the unit. So I do believe that the character in the unit will also get the full rerolls to wound against characters, monsters, and vehicles. However, because these are Alaris custodians, I would assume that they can only be joined by an Alaris Terminator captain, shield captain. You probably can't like put Trajan in there. Trajan probably would go with his more regular guys. That's my assumption. Bricky, did you mention they're going to show up Blood Angel, Spatials, etc.? Someone in chat answered that a bit ago. I think they said that yes, that they are going to show non-Codex compliant Space Marine chapters in the faction focuses. Can any of you confirm or deny this statement? So you're going to go with Warden bodyguards, I assume. Probably. Well, probably Wardens and regular. Probably both. They said so in a tweet, yes. Oh, after the Drukhari and GSC, it will be the Space Marine chapters. They said yes. Okay. Gotcha. There's your answer. Does the Alaris Custodian ability affect units with characters attached? I use the Tyranid precision wording as a basis. I don't think so. So that's actually a great question. I don't believe, like, let's say you are fighting a 10-man guard squad with a company commander inside of it. I do not think you would get full rerolls to wound against that guard squad. Because you're not attacking the character, you are attacking a unit that the character is simply a part of. I believe if their weapons had precision, then it would, yes. Maybe. Because you can allocate it to the character. Maybe if they had precision. But I'm not sure. You will units gain the keywords? I don't think so. Where's character rules? Let's check this out. Leader ability, done before deployment, at the same time as transports, etc., etc. Each leader has a short selection of units they can join. Let's see. Leader can only join one unit. Kept safe by his rule says character unit. Right, that's why I'm trying to figure out. Wait, where'd you say that that Tyranid thing here? Where is that Tyranid thing that you showed off? It's the How to Plan an Army that has the Tyranid detachment rule. No. Detachment rules. Here we go. Hyper adaptations. Each time a Tyranid's model with this hyper adaptation makes an attack that targets an enemy character unit, if a critical hit is scored, that attack has the precision ability. This model makes an attack that targets a character, monster, or vehicle unit. Oh, you might be right. Huh. If that is the case, that is a substantial power increase. A substantial one. Huh. You might be right. There was that leak though that had all of the leader rules. And I need to read through that leak again. Because that was more specific on all the stuff. Actually, I think I have that. Oh, that was my doorbell. Who is at my house? Oh, they need me to sign for a package. One sec, chat. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. It was a new compressor for an airbrush. Had to sign off on it because lithium batteries or whatever the hell. Yes, I should actually have this leak somewhere. Of the one moment. Maybe I don't. It was in my Discord. Let's see here. Boop-a-da-boo. Here we go. Found it. Let me check. I can't wait to yeah, they get the Pinkertons sent to me. Okay, leader rules. Leader. Some characters with the leader listed on their data sheets. Such character units are known as leaders, and the units they can lead, known as their bodyguard units, are listed in their data sheet. During the declare battle formation step, for each leader in your army, if your army also includes one or more of the leader's bodyguard units, you can select one of those bodyguard units. The leader will then attach to the bodyguard unit for the duration of the battle and is said to be leading that unit. Each bodyguard unit can only have one leader attached to it. While a bodyguard unit contains a leader, it is known as an attached unit. And with the exception of rules that are triggered when units are destroyed, it is treated as a single unit for all rules purposes. Each time an attack targets an attached unit, until the attacking unit has resolved all of its attacks, you must use the toughness characteristic of the bodyguard models in that unit, even if the leader has different toughness. Each time an attack successfully wounds an attached unit, the attack cannot be allocated to a character model in that unit, even if the character model has lost one or more wounds in that phase. As soon as the last bodyguard model in the attached unit has been destroyed, any characters made against that unit that have yet to be allocated can then be allocated to character models in that unit. This does not answer my question. This does not help. It says some character units have leader on them. So I'm assuming, well, it says some character units. This is not a character unit. The character unit is just the character. For all rules, which includes keyword transfers to unit. Where do you see that? These powerful auras in all cases have rerolls to earshot. Your heroes join a single squad and act as a cohesive unit. It's an elegant system, right, blah, blah, blah. Notice the leader ability, which unlocks the ability to join the squad, right. It doesn't say anything about transferring keywords. Where do you see transferring keywords? You can attach one of these models to the units of even one right, and you have certain strength. Playing factions of similar low-rank leaders. Surgeon, battlefield surgeons, warlock, battle psychers. Your leader is kept safe by the bodyguards, right. Not all characters possess leader ability. Allied swords have the lone operative, right? Mendicare assassins and Shadow Sun, right? I see nothing that says they transfer the keywords. You just read for all the rules in 9th edition rule. Some units can include models that have different keywords while units model. Oh, I was about to say, like, this sounds like 9th edition rules. Like, there is absolutely nothing in the leader rule in the leaked codex that I just read for 10th that says anything at all regarding transferring keywords. Absolutely zero. I think you have put me on a wild goose chase. I think I've been gaslit. Well, if you look at the Thousand Sun sheet, shows that models can have different keywords than units. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I know that. I read that part in the K-Suns one. Yeah, I literally, where is it? Yeah, it says it right here. All models gain Infantry, Battle Line, Chaos, the Ancient Rubric Marines, and the Inspiring Sorcerer also gain Psyker. Yeah, there's no reason why it would ever. Well, wait, you're telling me they're gonna gain? They're gonna gain Epic Hero? My Rubric Marine's gonna gain the phrase Epic Hero? It says models in that unit, not models with this keyword. Thus, leader being in the units, it also benefits the same rules like an aura. For when they're attached, but not when they're attacked. I would bet money on the idea that this Slayer of Tyrants rule does not affect the bodyguards a character is in. I do not believe it does. It is a character itself with the keyword character. The rule would be under keywords, not under leader. Oh, let's look at keywords then. I don't think that's correct. I would be shocked. Because with the changes to characters and how many units they can lead now, it would be kind of, you would often get like, it's basically this against half the army. Select targets, make attack. No. I just don't believe you. Keywords. Dash sheets have lists of keywords, separated faction keywords and other keywords. The former are used to assign which models to include in your army, but function is the same. That's all it says for keywords. Let's see. Let's look at that Tyranid detachment rule real quick. Each time a Tyranid's model with this character adaptation makes an attack that targets an enemy character unit, if critical hit is scored, this attack has the precision ability. Well, now we are stuck between two things, aren't we? Because it would not make any sense. So if what I just said was the case, then this would not work. Huh? I might be wrong. I genuinely might. I think I didn't put any bets up. I might be wrong. I might be wrong. Custodians might affect that whole thing. Which is bizarre, because that's kind of not their shtick. Their shtick is to murder the character itself. But the wording is really weird. Because if they're attacking a character unit, there is absolutely no point in having precision. Like if it says, if character unit is only referring to the character itself, then having precision means nothing. It's a moot point, which is obviously not their intention. Precision, where is it? Precision. Weapons with precision in their profile are known as precision weapons. Each time an attack made with this weapon successfully wounds an attached unit. If a character model in that unit is visible attacking model, the attacking model's players can choose to have that attack allocated to the character model instead of following the normal attack sequence. When targeting an attached unit, the attacking model's player can have the attack allocated to the character's model that is visible to the unit. That's a very good point. The fact that we have to deliberate on this is already a bit of an annoyance, I would argue. It seems that it would work. If this is the way it is, then it would, like, if this, the thing is that the problem that's a bit annoying is the fact that on one side this doesn't work at all, and on the other side it works just a little bit. Yeah, what is the other custodian? Where are the sisters girls? Each time a model in this attack makes its range that targets a psyker unit, that attack has the precision and devastating wounds abilities. then yeah, I mean, if it's firing at a rubric Marines, they would gain Psyker for like they have the keyword Psyker in that unit, which would allow them to fire upon either a character like Araman leading it or something. I wish all I needed, my guy, was leader this is now a character unit. It's all I needed. It's all I needed, GW. It's all I fucking needed. Leader listed on the dash sheets. Character units are known as leaders. And you know what? You know what? I think I get it now. I think I get it. I think I understand it now. You put a leader in a squad, and because it acts as a unit in the squad therefore would have the keyword. If I had a squad of Terminators and I put a Terminator Librarian in it, it would have the Psyker keyword, but only when the attacks are allocated against the Psyker. For example, right, like when this says it targets a Psyker unit, that attack has the precision and devastating wounds abilities. But I'm imagining it's only when that attack is specifically targeting that Psyker, which will only happen if it's precision and devastating wounds. So if I fired at a Terminator squad that had a Terminator Librarian in the squad, I would not get devastating wounds when allocating the attacks to the regular Terminators. But rather, because I have precision, I can then allocate it to the Terminator Librarian, which will then give me devastating wounds because they are a Psyker. That sounds right. That sounds right. That sounds right. But then there's the other question. Each time a Tyrann's model with this adaptation makes an attack that targets an enemy character unit. If a critical hit is scored, the attack has the precision ability, which allows me to automatically choose the character. Which would assume this attack that makes an attack that targets a character, monster, or vehicle unit, you can reroll the wound roll. But then is it being it's not allocated? Is it allocated specifically after the, but then the wound rolls already happened. All right. I'm you see, originally my thought process was that the character, monster, and vehicle unit would be is meant to be big dedicated characters, people like Guilliman and Angron, and that's why they have this thing, is for the big character boys and then monsters and vehicles. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know. Yeah, Alaris murdering the bodyguards to get to the leader is very fluffy. That's kind of their point. That's kind of their thing. But that does change things up and make them substantially more powerful than I had originally seen so. So the thing is that makes them seem too good in a weird way. We don't know their points though. But at the same time, even though I don't like kind of want it to roll that way, it would mean we would need to slow roll all the bodyguards before we get to the main, the juicy center in between. And it would also mean that the Tyranids rule just flat out doesn't work. So I'm going to assume that a character with that bodyguards with a character in it are a character unit. And therefore, if you fire at a 10-man guardsman squad with a company commander in it, you are going to eat them alive with full rerolls to wound. That's what I assume. I'm going to assume that you are right, chat. I was wrong, and this is probably how it is. Because it seems like the simpler, correct idea. And I mean, if the Lars Custodians are like 75 points, then, you know, really, who gives a shit? Okay. That was a bit complicated and a bit difficult to deal with, but it is what it is. We figured it out. Thank you very much for the donations, each of you guys. I appreciate it. I gotta go back and read a couple other donos that I missed during this conversation. Kadri, hi Bricky, do you think Necrons will get new Lord models and Locust Lord models? Maybe Locust Lord, but Lords probably not. They just got a new Overlord really recently, and there's a couple like fancy characters that came with like special editions, like one with the Res Orb and stuff. So maybe, but I don't think so. Bishop, do you think Lehman Russ got that dog in him? Oh, we got that dog in him. Valkyrie Studios, hey Bricky, screw you, here's $5. Extremely based. Ramen Detective, Custode Prosecutors sounds like the pissed off rules lawyers of 40k. A little bit. Silverhawk, now that the faction previews are out, how do you think Space Marines will form this edition? Pretty well. Space Marines have Oaths of Moment, and it's very, very good. Guilliman is looking quite strong as well. You know, the Land Raider, I guess we have the Land Raiders, fine. But the other factions they've shown so far, the new Terminator data sheets are very good. They seem like they hit very hard. Oaths of Moment's good. Their faction rules are good. And the attachment bonus is good. I think Marines will provide pretty well. Hey Bricky, I'm watching while prepping for a speech and debate tournament. And Curse, you were mentioning Moonbreaker in your last video. I'm addicted now. Hell yeah, that's right. Let's go. And thanks for the other donations, chat. I appreciate it. Free Radio Armageddon, simplified, not simple. Hey, don't do that. Don't. I see that shit every fucking day, man. I see that shit every fucking day. I'll see like a dumbass Grey Knight player who's like, oh, we're gonna lower the amount of rerolls going on, and then he gets full rerolls and everything. Like, shut the fuck up. Stop cherry picking. You could own a farm with all of your cherry picking. It's ridiculous. The amount of kind of thing is like that. God damn it. Simple Hermit. As a Tau player, I am perfectly happy that more armies are 4+ armies because we're supposed to be the shooting army, but everyone shot better than us. Well, I think Tau is supposed to be a shooting army, but more so they're supposed to be like just a high-powered shooting army, a high-damaging shooting army. Tau are supposed to shoot hard with their stat lines, not with their accuracy as much. Not as much, that is. At least not in the same way as like Custodians do. Tau shoot fucking hard because their guns hurt like hell. Votann shoot well, not as hard, but they're also like low range and slow and tough. So it's like a little bit different. But Bricky, significantly fewer rerolls. There are significantly fewer rerolls, for the love of God. I swear to God, people who complain about that are like, don't play fucking 9th edition. Like, they just didn't play 9th. Like, they flat out just did not play the game. I don't understand. I don't get it. Like, you just did not play the video game. The tabletop game. Like, the amount of auras is like dead. The amount of faction rolls, faction rerolls is like gone. You know, the only faction I have seen with rerolls built in is Eldar and Imp Knights. That's the only ones I've seen. Comparing that to like, okay, Custodes have reroll 1 hit roll with or wound roll with Emperor's Chosen, and reroll 1 this roll with the Grey Arthurian League, and 1 wound roll with this, and the blah, 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 blah. It's all gone. The only thing I've seen from a detachment rule is one of the 2 in Imperial Knights and the Eldar one. I don't know is there any others. Space Marines have Oaths of Moment. That is their army rule, but not a detachment rule. Also, Guilliman doesn't even give fucking rerolls. Well, except for like Battle Shock. I guess he gives rerolls for Battle Shock. But he doesn't give like reroll ones to hit or nothing. Nids don't have it. CSM doesn't have it. Necrons don't have it. For all their detachment rules. None of them. Yeah, people who complain about 40k the most don't fucking play 40k. They don't play the goddamn game. Now they're on data sheets. Some data sheets. Not all data sheets. Some data sheets. They're on a few data sheets. Not all data sheets. Let's see. Are there rerolls here? Yes. On monsters and vehicles, only on the Beast Snaggers. Are there rerolls here? No. There's an +1 to hit and wound, but there are no rerolls. How about Custodians? We have no rerolls at all in their army rule. No rerolls in their shield host rule. No rerolls at all with Trajan. We have rerolls going on with the Slayer of Tyrants rule, specifically against characters, monsters, and vehicles. And we have no rerolls at all with Prosecutors. No rerolls here on the Executioner Greatblade. And a non-reroll stratagem. You're gonna break me, chat. I'm gonna lose my fucking mind with some of you people. The amount of times I see, oh, there is a single reroll. Oh my god, I thought they were reducing rerolls. I'm gonna lose it. I'm gonna lose it. I'm gonna lose it. All right. Tassigan, is that how I say your name? Thank you so much for the $2 dono. Mushroom. Rich. Not sure if you already said anything on stream. What do you think about the Nero Gaunt, Barb Gaunt, and Nero Tyrant, Barb Gaunt, and Nero Gaunt rules? Oh yeah, these fucking things. Well, it depends. The Barb Gaunts makes me assume that the enemy, or that the Nids are going to become a control army. It's a kind of a short inch range. It's only 24 inches, no AP, and no indirect, which is very good. But this Disruption Bombardment is a really potent effect. It's extremely fucking potent. And so it's quite frightening to have to deal with this possible ability with the Barb Gaunts. But we don't necessarily know how expensive they will be. I know that in the Leviathan box, you can kind of see how many things are there. I can't find the Leviathan box. Is this it? Yeah, it's like 4 of them. 1, 2, 5. It's a squad of 5. So it's not that many. They're also on a big base. So I'm kind of assuming that maybe they'll be like a bit more of a high cost unit to kind of see exactly what's up with them. The Nero Gaunts look just absolutely like dog shit, but I'm assuming that it's going to be more than just spreading synapse. I'm going to assume there'll be a little bit more than just that, because what they've shown us right here is absolutely terrible. But the Nero Tyrant looks pretty fun. Subtracting 1 from the Battle Shock when you do Shadow in the Warp is very good. Going to make it way more potent. And having the little wiggly boys act as tokens to send out more synapse is kind of fun. It's kind of a neat concept. Bud Bolted, I want to see the heavy las cannon field ordnance gun. Yeah, me too. I want to see that one too. That's going to be nasty. Ian for Prez. Hey, Bricky, first of all, thanks for the 40k video. Secondly, is it just me or did they not show us the tier and detachment rules? Oh, they did. They showed us in here. Their detachment rule is right here. Hyper adaptations. At the start of the first battle round, you select one of these till the end of the battle. Infantry and Swarm gets sustained hits 1. Monster and Vehicle gets lethal hits, or character gets precision on critical hits. To see what's going on. But yeah, I'm gonna with the whole reroll thing. I'm gonna start screaming. Do units gain the benefit of their own leader ability, such or ability? You mean the characters? The answer is yes. Terminator Librarian for nope. Phase structure. That's what showed us the Terminator Librarian. Terminator Librarian, for example, says while this model is leading a unit, models have a 4-up feeling of pain against psychic attacks. While this model is leading a unit, they have sustained hits 1. He does get both. Yes. Bricky, what's the difference between an attachment rule and an army-wide rule? Okay, so it's like basically a structure. You know what? I need Microsoft Paint for this shit. All right, so check this shit out, right? Check this shit out. You have, oh god. You have... yeah, screw it. I'm just going to use this. Army rule. Oh, God. It's so bad. So you have army rule, right? This is your main thing. Oh, God, it's terrible. This is your main thing. Your whole army gets the army rule. Then the army rule. Oh, God. And then after your army, so this is Space Marines, Tyranids, etc., etc. Then you gain your detachment rule. The thing is that your detachment rule will, at the moment, is just the one. When you get your codex, you will have, I believe it's 6 detachment rules. So you get to pick one of 6 detachment rules. So while if you're Space Marines, you will always have Oaths of Moment, but then you will pick one of 6. To start off now, you just get the one. Until your codex comes out, and then you pick one of the 6. And then from there, each detachment rule has 6 strats, and then X number of enhancements. And then, of course, and then I guess their detachment rule. So basically, your army has an army rule, and then you get a detachment that has a rule, 6 strats, and enhancements. Enhancements are warlord traits and relics, basically. I think we will have all 6 detachment rules on datasheet release instead of just printed codex. I don't think we are. I think we're just getting one. What about guard? Guard gets orders. God damn it, it's fucking... God damn it, it's fucking awful. It's fucking... So, for example, like it's Tyranids. Synapse / Shadow in the Warp. That's your army rule. And then you gain your detachment rule, which is detachment rule, hyper adaptations. And then along with that rule, that will come with 6 stratagems, and as well as X number of enhancements. Warlord's trait and relics. And then when the codex comes out, I'm assuming we will get the other 5 detachment rules that will also have 6 stratagems or enhancements to go along with. Guard's detachment rule is Born Soldiers. It confers lethal hits on hit rolls of a 6 if you are stationary. They said that in the article. Let's see here. Leader. In 9th, you could get so many rerolls you couldn't use them all. Same with invuls and ignore invuls. That's why we had demon saves. Yeah, you had invul saves, you had armor saves, and then those were being bypassed by high AP, so you had invul saves that were then being bypassed by ignore invul saves, so you had demon saves. It was awful. And then you had Feel No Pains to go along with that, and wound cap rules that were then bypassed by anti-wound cap rules. It was a mess. That's why there's so much less. Notice how the Librarian does not confer rerolls. Notice how the Warrior Boar does not give rerolls. And the Mortal Wounds. And, well, Transhuman's still alive. I know that for a fact. Transhuman is a detachment rule for Space Marines. It was in one of their early statements. I don't remember exactly where it was. It was just the rules, I think. Nope. It's somewhere, I promise. Maybe it's here. No, it's somewhere, I swear. Transhuman's still around. I'm glad I picked this class as one of my electives. Oh, you're very welcome. I do my best. But yeah, there's definitely something along with that. I don't know exactly where it went. Maybe was it this Terminator stat line? That maybe was the one they showed it off. Rapid fire, anti-rapid. No, that was rapid ingress. Transhuman physiology is a strat. I just don't know where it was. Is it the new 40k Q&A? Damn it. I know they showed it off. They showed it off somewhere. I just don't know where. I don't remember where it was. Changes to unit profiles? No. They did show off transhuman. I promise they did. Well, they also showed off armor of contempt. I know they showed off armor of contempt as well. I could have sworn they showed off transhuman. There's armor of contempt right there, yeah. And yeah, for example, like, yeah, there's your enhancement, artificer armor. This bear has a 2-up save and a 5-up feel no pain ability. It was like a card hidden behind another card. Thinking about playing 40k on TTS and streaming it?
2 years working.
Probably not here. It's gonna chat. I don't know. I promise, chat. Maybe I'm having a schizo moment. I might be gaslighting myself. I genuinely might be gaslighting myself. I don't know. I might be. I could have sworn though. I could have sworn. Watch, it's like in Von Ryan's Leaper. So funny. Could it be? Don't tell me it's just in regular Space Marine. There's no way. Yeah, they show off only in Death Does Duty End. Yeah, that's right. Is all this going to be on the test? Maybe. Maybe. You better start studying, chat. You better start remembering. You better start studying. Check Combat Patrol. No? Oh, well. Ooh, that actually does remind me, though. Combat Patrol does have, the Terminator captain rules. Yeah, not... Would you look at that, chat? Reroll charge rolls. That's it. Wait, that's Imperium's sword. Is that like a relic? Ah, whatever. Gonna yell at you, chat. Gonna get mad. Gonna get so mad. It's still a reroll. I'm gonna stab you. I'm gonna stab you in real life. I'm gonna threaten you. I'm gonna pull out my knife and I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. But no, they're definitely more hyper specialized. Definitely more hyper specialized. Also, you know, like, let's don't forget that orcs lost their full rerolls to charge army wide. They did lose everybody go. So they did lose that massive reroll change. In terms of that. But no, it definitely does seem like there's a hell of a lot less. And the ones that are there are definitely more specialized. They are very specific. And like, in fact, did we see even a single reroll in the guard codex? Nothing in the Baneblade. Command phase, objective marker, war gear. Yeah, no, this is all +1 ballistic skill too, so it's not even. Oh yeah, I guess not. What demons? Nothing here. You know what? God damn it, chat! You broke me. You broke me. You broke me. I'm gonna go through every single goddamn focus. I'm gonna go through every single goddamn focus. All right. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. 0, nothing. Cool. Reroll battle shock tests and an extra is a moment, but no rerolls to hit or wound. Doesn't count. So doesn't count. Screw you. That's it. That's everything. All right, lovely. Nids. Let's see. Nope. Nothing for Synapse. Nothing for Shadow of the Warp. We do have a reroll built into the Gene Stealers of a wound roll of 1 in melee and full on an objective marker. The Swarm Lord has none. All right. So we got 1 from them. CSM. I know we definitely have 2 in CSM. We have the same thing for the Legionaries, melee and on objective, and then Abaddon does get the full reroll. That is definitely one of them. Abby definitely does have a full-on, full-stop, very good reroll, and also the Battle Shock test one. So definitely on Chaos Space Marines. Necrons. Nope. 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 0. Guard have 0 as well. We just checked them. Demons. Nope. Nope. Doesn't count. Improve the AP by 1. But no. Subtract 1 for the hit. Nope. Shadow of Chaos. Reroll Battle Shock and leadership tests. So we do have leadership tests. But that's it. So nope. 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 And nope. Cool. Cool. Excellent. Sisters. Miracle Dice. Miracle Dice. Nope. Still no. Add 1 to the attack. 6 of Field of Pain. Lethal hits. Add 1 to the... Oh, wow. Does she actually have none? I could have sworn she would have at least 1. Multiple attacks of face. Add 1 to the attacks of rapid fire weapon. Oh, wow. No, she doesn't. Wow. Holy shit. I kind of actually thought that the tribe would have 1. Yeah, nothing there. Nope. 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 And nope. All right. 0 for Sisters. Votan. +1, so no. Also no. Also no. Yes, here. We have fire support from the transport. So we do have that one. So there is that. No. And no. So we have 1 from Votan. Royal Leaders. Khorne Yahtzee. Zerkers. Do we count re-rolling a Blessing of Khorne? It's a bit I mean, I probably wouldn't. It's a faction rule thing. So I'd probably say no. Let's see. Angron is a definite yes. Angron's a definite yes. Full rerolls to hit. Aura of Angron. Totally makes sense. 100%. 100% for Angron. And then no, and then no. So I'll guess we'll add 1 if we're counting. 1 if that, 2 if we're counting the other one. Oh, yeah, if you want to count Twin Linked, I guess you could. I guess maybe you could count Twin Linked, but that's kind of a weapon profile thing. What about Admech? I know Admech has 1 minimum. No, 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 no. But Call does have reroll a hit roll of 1 for Call stuff. So we do have 1 from Call. And then nothing from everywhere else. Okay, Eldar. Eldar is definitely a big one. Eldar is definitely yes. Unparalleled Foresight, 100%. Yep, yep. And then that is it. I think. Yep, 1 from Eldar. Death Guard. No, no. We do get a reroll from Blightlord Terminators, closest eligible unit. Yep, yep. No and no. Nope. And no. So 1 from Death Guard. We definitely have 1 from Knights. We definitely have 1 from Imperial Knights, 1 of the 2 Code Chivalrics. No. And no. Nope. Nope. And no. So we have 1 from Knights. Tau. No. 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 Oh, no, subtract from charge rolls. Subtract. Nope. 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 So, none from Tau, it seems. Chaos Knights. Nope. Nope. Yes, we have one for Seething Hatred for the Knight Despoiler. You can reroll one hit roll or wound roll each time it shoots and fights. And that is it. Custodians is a yes. We have no here, but we do have the Slayer of Tyrants here. And that is all. We have one there. Orcs have the Beast Nagas. Yep. That's the one. Yep. And then K-Suns have... Do they even have any? I guess you could reroll a single saving throw with the Weaver of Fates. So I guess you could call that one, maybe. This is add one to the wound roll. Oh, and then there's the Bringers of Change with the Rubik Marines for the objective thing. So they do have one. The rest they don't have any. And then Grey Knights you have 0 except for the Dreadknight. His melee only against monsters and vehicles rerolls. And that's it. So out of 4 by 16, 19. Out of 19, how many rerolls have we found? 18 rerolls, 19 if we count twin linked. 20 with twin linked. So we've got about one reroll per show off, and often they are dedicated entirely to data sheets. And these are all the data sheets in 10th. I never said they were all the data sheets in 10th. I am simply saying that it would very much indeed appear that things are getting a substantially reduction in rerolls overall, as often the main source of rerolls came from things like detachment abilities, such as things like the Emperor's Chosen, giving them a hit roll or wound roll, or things like the Leagues of Wotan, rerolling one hit roll for the Greater Thurian League, or the Cabal of the Black Heart for Jukari, or the Mars Admech reroll, or the Militarum Sharpshooters, or the etc., etc., etc. It's not just being spread out everywhere, and it would appear that also characters, if they do confer rerolls, they are being attached to units, which means that they are very rarely ever giving an aura, allowing up to who knows how many units gain the benefit. There is a huge difference between character in guard giving reroll ones to hit for units than character in guard giving reroll ones to hit for 7 guard units, all surrounding the character. I am losing my mind, chat. Losing my mind. I prophesize that because some units have rerolls, they'll be taken more often because of that. I actually disagree. I think the keywords are what's going to matter more. Because even though there's a substantially fewer rerolls, there is a lot more of sustained hits, lethal hits, things like that are going around. And so I think those will also be quite powerful and very important. Yeah, I failed the leadership test. I'm battle shocked. It's me. I'm the battle shocked now. But I think the biggest thing is the fact that detachment rules are getting rid of rerolls across the board. From all of the detachment rules that we have seen, out of every single one we have seen so far, the only one that confers rerolls is Eldar. The Imperial Knights one is an army-wide rule. I think the only one we've seen is Eldar. Whereas most of the times, a lot of the reroll stuff came from various faction abilities. Things like, you know, Argent Shroud Sisters and various Space Marine groups like Salamander's Wound rerolls, etc. So that seems to be entirely gone. There is a lot of lethal hits, I will say. Maybe a bit more than I'd like so far, but with lethal hits are less powerful when AP is lower. I'm gonna get controversial. I like what has been shown. Bro, I fucking love what I've seen. As far as I'm concerned, 10th edition is looking really good. I'm very happy with these previews. That's why I'm doing the videos on them. I'm very happy with them. But I think people are just, I think people are just, you'll find out that people who complain the most about 40K don't play 40K. Because they either can't or they just don't get out much. Or people don't like playing with them because they're awful to deal with. That's why they're complaining the most. So that they just don't go out and play much. As someone who has played a fuckload of 40K, who constantly attends tournaments, who, well, our channel Dice Check is a bit down right now, but we'll be coming back up very soon, and played between like 5 games every single month, often once a week. Let me tell you, this looks very good. And let me tell you, this does look like there are fewer rerolls. I am pretty confident, chat, that I have played more 40K than a good portion of you, than a good like 95% of you, just from a overarching job perspective. I think I genuinely have, and I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that I am more qualified. So 2 things: 1, eat my ass, and 2, enjoy it. I apologize. Oh, I should have used fart reverb. Oh, damn it. I fucked up, chat. I should have used fart reverb. Hold up. There we go. There we go. I wonder how elite armies will handle all the lethal hits being introduced to the game. It's what I said earlier. Lethal hits become less annoying when AP is down. I don't know about you, but I've noticed lots of the things that confer lethal hits generally don't have a ton of AP. Like Death Guard, for example, got a ton of, I mean, I don't want to bag on them even more, but their lethal hits ones are like their melee weapons are pretty good, but these are Terminators, but it's only AP 1 and AP 2. And then like their Blight Launcher is AP 1, Plague Combi Bolter is AP 0, you know. Necrons got lethal hits on their guns, but it's like, this is only AP 1, and then these guys are AP 0 or AP 1 on the Reaper, but it's 12-inch range. You know, it's like, it's a little bit less, it doesn't seem to be as pertinent. Clean yourself. Hey, Bricky, don't know if you were ever interested in fantasy settings, but what are the changes of checking AOS? Those models be banging? Oh, the chances. No AOS for me. I'm not interested in AOS. The models do be banging, though. The models are gorgeous, but I'm not interested in AOS. I guess you could argue that lethal hits might be a bit of a thing when it comes to Heretic Astartes, because you can get it on lots of higher AP stuff, but, you know, you do have the possibility of, you know, chaos murdering you. So why? I just don't care. I don't much care about fantasy AOS, and please, chat, one bankrupting hobby. There we go. Welcome back, chat. I apologize. Welcome back, everybody. I'm very sorry for that. It looks like my internet went down for a short period of time, and it was it just caused me a problem. So I'm back. I apologize. I had to re-roll a couple hit rolls for the stream. You know, had to re-roll a hit roll, and I hated myself for it. Hated myself for it. I talked shit on AOS, and I immediately was killed in the streets. Bazby, Bricky, one pass to the community. My 20 years of 40K obsession makes my heart full to have you in it as 10th edition lands. Oh, thank you. That's very kind of you. That's very, very kind of you. But I'm kind of afraid of the new tough vehicles encourage vehicle spam because there will be so few weapons per list that can adequately deal with them. The two sides of 40K complaints. I'm not ripping on you specifically, but I think lethal hits is going to be too strong that it'll make high toughness obsolete. I'm worried that vehicle is going to be too tough and it'll become too powerful. Either lethal hits are great and it ruins vehicles, or they aren't and vehicles continue to run amok. Or, and this is probably the more acceptable one, vehicles in their own right are just kind of relegated to being, well, vehicles and have a generally low OC that can easily be forced off objectives and can also, are at a points cost that is at a premium. Either / or. It really is. It's really depending. Like one of the two. Maybe vehicles will be really nasty, but if you go too hard on vehicles and your opponent brings enough anti-tank, like you're just kind of screwed because anti-tank weapons in this edition are looking rather good. Like if you think about it, the toughest vehicle in the game is T14, yeah? And the Doomsday Cannon here on the good old Necrons is strength 15, AP 4, damage 4. And it would appear that the vehicles are not really getting invul saves. The vehicles are entirely reliant on high toughness and high wounds and a good armor save. If you are firing at a classic AP, like a AP or 3-up armor save type vehicle, this is going to go right through it. And it will hurt. So who knows? I mean, shit, look at the Void Dragon. This motherfucker is anti-vehicle 2-up. Hits on 2s, wounds on 2s, D6 plus 2, AP 3. Have we seen any demon engines? No, I don't believe so. We've seen the Bale Flamer on the Helldrake, but that's about it. Just good, you know, D6 plus 3. I guess you could say the Blitz, well, Blitz a virus thing. Oh, Blitz are looking good, though. I like a Blitz. They're looking genuinely quite solid. It'll hurt with the rerolls it's getting, but it's going to stab you in real life. Dale Daiquiri Pop. Props late, but Imperial Agents got a preview and a kill team article about our beaties. Not seen many people talk about it, about this. Have fun. Well, thank you. A kill team article, huh? Probably because we're mainly looking at the 40K stuff and not a whole lot of kill team stuff. I just hate that guardsmen with las guns are very effective versus knights, but they're not. You have to stay stationary with your las guns for them to confer lethal hits. Also, las guns are AP 0. So if you want lethal hits, you have to be 1, stationary, which means the opponent could have shot you first and you're guardsman. And 2, you only get it on a wound roll of a hit roll of a 6. What even is? Okay, let's say you've got a full squad of guardsmen, 20 men in front of a knight, and you give them first rank fire, second rank fire. Okay, let's say you do. So you are right in front of the knight, and you're getting 3 shots per guy. You're getting 60 shots, 60 las gun shots within 12-inch range of a knight, and somehow. You got that while being stationary, giving yourself lethal hits within 12 somehow, for the sake of argument. You have hit on 4s, so out of 60 shots, 30 of them hit, and 10 of them go into lethal hits. So those go into lethal hits. The rest of the 20 go into the wounding phase, and only on 6s do they wound. So 1/6 of 20 is like what, 4, 3 maybe. Let's go with 4. Let's be generous. 4 of them are 6s. So in total, you got 14 wounds. 14 wounds on a knight. The knight, they have no AP, so the knight takes a 3-up. So 1/3 go through of 14. So we'll say 4. Probably about right, maybe 5. Let's say maybe 5 go through. Then you have a feel no pain on the knight, 6 up. So let's say let's actually go 4 then. Let's chop it down 1 for the feel no pain. So 4 go through the knight. All right, so you have been able to do 4 wounds against the knight by being stationary within 12-inch range of the knight at full squad with your order. That's just not going to happen. Like, that's not going to happen. And even then, you have done a 5th of the damage against a singular knight. Whoops. Like how many wounds does the knight have? 22 wounds. So you've done less than a 5th in damage. And now try that again without lethal hits, because you're not going to get lethal hits like that. You're telling me you're going to be within 12 inches of a knight while stationary? Like, how are you doing that? How are you doing that? You know, I mean, if you weren't stationary, let's say you were outside 24 inches, so you fired within 24, and you did the whole rapid fire thing in a 20-man squad. Remember this, you have a full squad, 20, not 10, 20, 2 full squads, and you get 40 shots, which would confer a third less, so like 2, maybe 3 wounds, maybe. This is flat out fake news. This is fake. The fake news patrol is there. You should be more worried about the basilisk, or the manticore, or honestly the artillery, because the artillery is what you should be worried about, because this is being stationary. Let's see here. Isaac Holgan. Hey, Bricky, did I miss your response to my Cassie super chat? Follow-up question. Anything you're hoping as far as Sisters data sheets? You mean Cassie the Castigator? I mean, she's amazing. She's great. She's an excellent staple of a Sisters army if you want to take her. But I mean, I'm hoping for all kinds of things with Sisters. Thing is about Sisters is that Sisters are, they're shitty data sheets with amazing rules. That's the whole point of Sisters. Shitty data sheets with amazing rules. Tons of buffing abilities, hence this insane thing here, with just kind of mediocre sheets. And I mean, from what I've seen right now, it's pretty solid. You know, I'm liking it. They hit well. They hit on 3s because, you know, power armor helps you hit better. Because power armored stuff lets you hit on 3s. And then you get lots of good miracle dice, and you know, the buffs seem pretty good. And I'm just hoping that certain things like Repentia and Celestine kind of find a good role for themselves. My only, I guess, major fear is our lack of anti-tank, but honestly, you can make the Meltas good at anti-tank by just utilizing miracle dice. Throw some 5s out there, man. Just yeah. Yurdim, thanks for the content, Bricky. Would love to see continued 40K content. Will you be making a tier list based on what we've seen, then make a tier list after all the books are released? Probably not. I probably won't make a tier list about all the faction focuses we've released. I'll maybe make like a final overall discussion on them, but that's about it. Maybe I'll talk a little bit later once all the indexes come out, but I'll probably just talk about the indexes that are my armies. So CSM, Krons, Guard, Sisters, and Votan, and Custodes. So we'll see, maybe. Kyle, hey Bricky, my first tournament tomorrow, so close out 9th and getting married. Oh, getting married the weekend after. Any words of wisdom? Don't faint. Don't faint, and drink plenty of water, both for the marriage and for the tournament. That's all I say. Congratulations, Kyle. Do you think Celestine will get the Angron treatment that you can use your dice to bring her back? I could totally see Miracle Dice being used to bring Celestine back, yeah. Thing is, the things that's scary about Celestine is actually mentioned in this article. You know, if you're below half strength, you get +1 to hit and +1 to wound. And if you kill off both of Celestine's Gemini, then Celestine's gonna fucking rip you up. Captain Redbeard, any idea what the attachment rules for the Imperial Fist might be? My assumption was something along the lines of like some kind of armor of contempt if you're on an objective, or benefits of cover, or +1 OC. +1 OC if, you know, in some way. Something fortification like, you know, good at holding objectives. That kind of thing. So I would go with something along the lines of like +1 OC, maybe. Or a way to confer it. Or maybe keeps OC 1 even while battle shocked. Or maybe bolt weapons have sustained hits 1. Just, you know, things like that as well. As a change of subject, earlier you mentioned your favorite Legion being the Night Lords. Does one play 30k at all? Do you have any plans of playing 30k? No, and I do not. I have no plans in getting into other projects like that, or Horus Heresy or Sigmar, because, like I said earlier, 1, backbreaking hobby at a time, please. And 2, I would like to... There is enough 40k content around to begin with. I'd like to not stretch myself thin, please. Yurton with $5 also. Also for Adric, can you please read Dead Man Walking? It's difficult to find a copy, older book, but I can recommend a copy in your P.O. box. If it requires a actual book, then probably not. We will be mostly sticking to Audible so that everyone can read the book with us. Or listen, you know. No more combi weapons on superiors? Yeah, kind of a weird thing, right? They could have combi weapons, they might just be on the other side and require like the war gear card or whatever they normally say. Or maybe the combi weapons will go on fancier things like Celestians. So who knows? Who knows? Yeah, Dice Check will come around soon. I made a tweet about it earlier. Did you do a ranking for the faction focus artwork? We talked about that on a stream a while ago. I would like to do a ranking for it. It would need to be a separate video. But basically my rankings go Chaos Space Marines is the undisputed champions, with AdMech right behind that, and probably World Eaters right behind that. CSM are just too good. The worst cover art, in my opinion, by far, is Custodians. By far. I absolutely despise the Custodian one. Oh yeah, Gene Stealer Cults are also really up there too. The S tier is basically CSM, AdMech, World Eaters, GSC, and probably K-Suns. Or maybe not K-Suns, but they're up there. Eldar is also pretty cool, yeah. Did I find it strange that a Keeper of Secrets has -1 to hit, but there already exists a stealth keyword? We figured that out. We figured it out. Stealth is only for ranged. Keeper of Secrets is -1 to hit in general. Ranged and melee. That's why. That's why. Yeah, we figured it out. We figured it out. I was in the exact same boat. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what Night Lord's rules with Battleshock will be. I mean, honestly, we kind of saw the best Night Lord rules for Battleshock already. It's Chaos Knights. Chaos Knights rip. Absolutely rip with their Battleshock stuff. It's pretty crazy. Battle Round 3 is going to hurt with Harbingers of Dread. It's gonna hurt bad. Will the Banshees also get -1 like the Keeper? Sure, maybe. Howling Banshees with their screaming masks. What are those things called again? It's like death masks? Or is that the other ones? Oh, it doesn't even say. Just says Whirling Death. Just Howling Banshee mask. All right, sure. Sure. Death. I thought it was Death Mask, but I guess that works. Drukhari might be Battleshock heavy. Or it might be Murder the Enemy heavy to, you know, Power from Pain kind of thing. I could see them getting buffs against Battleshock enemies, definitely. Well, the Death Jester is Harlequins. That's the Death Jester. All right, chat. I don't really have a whole lot left to talk about. I guess for now we'll go ahead and answer any final questions you might have. Any lasting questions before we go, and we'll see. How bad is the Battle Shock turn 1? Asking as an AdMech Coom, I'm afraid people will just ignore most of the nukes under blankets. They might. Battle Shock turn 1 isn't that big of a deal. The thing is that they can't use stratagems on them. So if there's a stratagem they really wanted to use defensively, perhaps, that might actually be a big deal. Opinion on aircraft mandatory deployment on turn 2 across the board. Good. 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 Aircraft always ruin the game. Glad to see it. Hope Silent Sisters get a bit more love. Not likely. They got some pretty okay rules. We just have to see the rules a bit more. Anything on Assassins? Nope, not yet. What are your hopes for the through neglected Necron named characters? Just some new fucking models is all I care about. The rules are actually pretty good, but the new models, the fine cast is terrible. What kind of unit do you want Sisters to get for 10th? I don't know. More wacky shit. Like cathedral tank. Like it's just a cathedral. That's all it is. Very slow. Like a giant cathedral on treads. Sister bikes? Maybe. I kind of like the jetpack girls more. They're more angelic, so to speak. What do you want to see for a new CSM model? Night Lord named character, please. Night Lord named characters, please, please, please. Flying Canoness would be pretty cool. I'd be pretty happy with a Flying Canoness. Yeah, a jetpack character. Yeah. If there is a rule, you can use a strat on a target again, even if you use it, you can still use a Battle Shock, right? Probably not. Battle Shock, I believe, just doesn't let you do anything on a unit. Controlling player cannot use stratagems to affect that unit. You just can't use it. Doesn't matter if the stratagem is 0 CP. You cannot use it. So, yeah. What do you think about the autocan equivalent weapons, i.e. Castellan axes? I mean, axes are higher damage, higher strength, lower AP. It entirely depends on what you're fighting. Be great against demons. Bad against Terminators. Thoughts on Custodes axes being worse than spears? Well, that's what I just said. It depends on what you're fighting. It entirely depends on what you're fighting. I feel like axes might be good against like low save, high invul stuff. Like demons, you know? Maybe. There might be a statistical situation where often it's worse, but it might be slightly okay against certain targets. Do you think the Death Guard is going to get assigned a compensated speed buff? Nope. Death Guard are slow. I'm currently building an SOB army. Are Seraphims worth it? Yes. Seraphims are a great unit. They are perfectly fine. I think that's about it. World of general consensus on 3D printed models. 3D printed models consensus is very fine. It is, you may 3D print whatever you'd like. I don't much care. Just so long as they look relatively similar to the GW stuff that you're trying to play. And, you know, just don't tell it to the store owner, I guess. I really don't care. Most people tend not to care. Hey, well, Orcs going to 5-up save, Bricky? We don't know if Orcs are going to 5-up save. Beast Snaggers have a 5-up save. Regular Orcs could still have a t-shirt. Beast Snaggers, I guess, could have the, you know, the armor on their shoulder pads, so that might make them a little bit better. As far as I'm concerned, you're 3D printing models. I really don't care. Generally, people 3D print more when GW acts a fool. Like, people started 3D printing a lot when Warhammer Plus came out because people were really pissed off. If you want to 3D print, but like, you know, new models might come out and their sculpt might be amazing and you might buy it because they're doing cool stuff. Like, you know, that's kind of, it's like the whole video game thing. When the company is awful, people pirate more. That's just kind of the way it is. When the company is awful, people will pirate more. Hey, Nicholas, thanks for the bucks. Thanks for this, Bricky. Very fun to listen to you talk about 40K. As always, PS, your opinion on cheesecake is wrong. You know what? Before I end this stream, let me make that very, very clear. Cheesecake is a dog shit dessert. Absolutely terrible. And it is too rich. It is too dense. It is just terrible. Even the good cheesecakes are also bad. You're